Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, we're live. We're in the studio, so get involved in the chat and the comments. Going to be talking about all the latest Manchester United news. Got some transfer updates. What's going on with Kobbie Mainoo? We'll be getting into all that. Also, Joshua Zirkzee. Looks like there could be a bit of a twist in the tail on that front. Plus, a load of other stories as well. So make sure you are joining us for the conversation and hitting that like button. Right, good to see some usual suspects in there. Kevin Credibly, Bob Ralph, Mick Hullahan, Akash K. Hello, good morning to all you wonderful people. Raven78 as well. CTB says CTB 1977 says, Yo Jay, Big Mac or quarter pounder? Neither. Right, let's talk about Kobbie Mainoo to Napoli. Right, so this has been doing the rounds here. I think this has come from, is it one of the directors of Napoli who's been sort of talking about Kobbie Mainoo? I saw this in the Manchester Evening News. We've got it here from, what publication is this from? FootballItalia.net, the Evening News running it as well. So we can see here, this is, I've obviously been quoted from Sky Sports Italia. So this is one, I think this is one of the directors from Napoli who's been speaking about Kobbie Mainoo, and he says he's a player who has been linked to Napoli since August. Also for his age, his potential in the transfer opportunity. The team's doing well, it's consolidated. We have some important absences right now, but sooner or later the lads will return strong and determined. We have to make the right evaluation, so we'll see how things progress along the way. So look, this isn't going away, is it? These links with Kobbie Mainoo to Napoli. He's been linked with several clubs. I think the Evening News ran a story the other day saying there's like 12 clubs that are interested in him, and his preference is to go abroad rather than staying in the Premier League, because he does want to stay at Manchester United long term, but he wants a loan because he ain't getting many minutes, he ain't getting much football. I think he's played 183 minutes in the Premier League the entire season, which isn't enough, is it really? There's a lot of ex-United players who are speaking about it. We've heard from Nicky Butt, we've heard from Paul Scholes, we've heard from Rio Ferdinand, all encouraging Kobbie Mainoo to move on. Some of them saying he should move on permanently because he's not getting the minutes, he's not getting the game time. And if he is going to develop, he needs to be playing football regularly. This is a player that went from 30-odd games in his first season, 30-odd games in his second season, to he'll be lucky if he gets anywhere near that this season, and certainly not anywhere near the amount of starts he's had in the first 2 years. So you do want to see him progress. I think it's better for Manchester United if Kobbie Mainoo develops into the player we all think he can be. And he's not really getting used. Now, the spanner in the works here is, he is getting used a bit. So if you're Ruben Amorim, you might be looking at it going, look, okay, I'm not using him a lot, I'm not starting him, but I am using him. I am giving him some minutes. So if he was to go out on loan, and we had 1 or 2 injuries, there's a chance that I'd need him. So will he get that move that he wants? There's a lot of permutations with this, a lot of things to look at. There's also the how United treat their academy players, their young players. There's all this talk about JJ Gabriel. I was talking to Lloyd Whitwell about this the other day. United have pulled out all the stops to keep JJ Gabriel. There was rumours and reports in The Athletic that in the summer, him and his dad and everyone, they wanted to leave. They were going to leave Manchester United, but they had a sit down with the club, and the club showed him the pathway to the first team. Now, if you're looking at Manchester United, you're a academy player, you're looking at how they treat their other academy players. If you think, fair enough, if you're not wanted in the first team, then go out on loan. But if you go in, well, you're not wanted in the first team, we're not going to let you go out on loan either. You might look at that and go, do I want to be involved in that club? Do I want to be part of this club if they're not going to treat the academy players well and they're not going to give them the opportunity to play either at Manchester United or elsewhere? So there's different things to consider here. I know Kobbie Mainoo is a very, very popular player amongst Manchester United fans. There was reports, and I spoke to people at the Wolves game who said when he came on against Wolves, he got a massive cheer. The crowd were loving it. And I'm a fan who absolutely adores Kobbie Mainoo. I'd like to see him stay at Manchester United. I'd like to see him in the first team. I'd like to see him feature more. But if he isn't, and he isn't going to get used, then I do think he needs to go out on loan, because regardless of the World Cup, it might be too late for him to get into Thomas Tuchel's World Cup squad, even if he has a very good loan spell. He still needs to develop. He still needs game time, and he isn't getting that at Manchester United. I don't think he can have a season where he's playing 5 or 6 minutes a week, which I think is about his average. I think his average is about 15 minutes a week, to be fair, which is just ridiculous, isn't it? Like, that isn't going to help him, and it isn't really helping Manchester United a lot, if we're being honest. So we'll have to see what happens. Let me know what you think. Get involved in the chat in the comments. Do you want to see him stay? Do you think he should go out on loan? Do you think we should sell him? Do you think what do you think? I think most people I speak to think Kobbie Mainoo should go out on loan, but there are some that say just sell him if you're not going to get any game time. I'd hate to see this happen though. Let me know what you think. Loads of people in the chat. So Raymond says, 78 says, when did our name stop working on it? I don't know. YouTube have changed it, so now you get like the full name rather than the name that you've chosen. Anshumagali Lati 22 says, I don't want him to leave. Next season we need a bigger squad. Yeah, next season, hopefully we'll have European football, hopefully Champions League football. That should be the goal. And if we do, you're going to need players like Kobbie Mainoo. Also, I think Laurie brought this up on Inside United. Casemiro was surplus to requirements about 6 months ago, and now he's a regular. So it's a bit premature to say Kobbie Mainoo's done. Also, he's 21? Like, he's far too young to be sort of, this is it, he's done. However, if he wants football, he's not going to get it this season, certainly, or he isn't getting it this season. So I think a loan move makes sense to me. Someone else saying long-term stay. Susie says, Amorim should be overruled regarding Mainoo. I'm disgusted by his treatment of him. The trouble is you can't really make a manager play players. You can't do that. I think if Jason Wilcox was to say to Ruben Amorim, right, I want you to pick Kobbie Mainoo, it makes his position untenable. If his system and the way he wants to play, I don't agree with it, by the way. I'd have Kobbie Mainoo in the team, and that's a different story for a different video. But if he doesn't want him in the team, I don't think you can force him to. Because if you do, then that's untenable for a manager, even though I do agree that he should be in the team. If he goes, it's stupid, says Jordan Fielding, 987. Not Mr. J, says I am Mainoo FC. Sam Jabba Music says Mainoo will be okay. Look what happened with Ahmad. Yep, I think a low move helped Ahmad, didn't it? He had 2 low moves, one to Rangers, which wasn't that successful, and then he had one to Sunderland, which was very successful. Then he came back and got himself in the team. There was an issue, though, with him and Ten Hag, where Ten Hag, you felt, didn't really fancy him. So I do wonder how it pans out if Amorim is the long-term manager at Manchester United. JB TD9 FC says Mainoo has done what exactly for the last year to deserve a starting place. I think Kobbie Mainoo has done a lot of good things over the last year, to be honest with you, and I think people just ignore that. I think he was very good at the Etihad. I think if you don't remember, last year it was Kobbie Mainoo's equaliser at Lyon that gave us something to hold on to for the rest of the season. If it wasn't for that, I think the season would have been dead that night. And it's quite easy to forget that Kobbie Mainoo is a very, very good footballer, a very good quality player as well. It's not just about last year, it's what talents he's had since he's come into the team. This is a player that was man of the match against the midfield that features the likes of Rodri and Kevin De Bruyne at Wembley. And now he's just surplus to requirements, it seems. And also, he's a different type of player, but for me, he's just far superior to Manuel Ugarte. And you see certain games where Ugarte gets on ahead of him, and I just think, what are we doing? Destino Portugal says, I'm in hospital in Portugal, Jay. Wish me well as I'm sick. As Højlund was a striker, up the Paddock and Feliz Natal. Jacoya Trot says, morning, Jay. Finally got the black Paddock hoodie. Excellent quality. Thank you, my brother. Kong Bunter says, we want Mainoo to succeed, but there are circumstances that explains why he's not playing a lot. Kevin Credibly says, it's a good point about Ahmad. A loan could do the world of good. I'd be devastated if he was sold. Faraz Khan says, Jay, you may have answered this before, but which would you prefer, Mainoo and Bruno or Mainoo and Casemiro? In all honesty, I wouldn't have just a double pivot. I'd have 3 midfield if it was up to me. I'd have 3 midfield and 3 in a sack. I'd love to see a 4-3-3. I think this team could play 4-3-3. But if you're going to ask me that question, would it be Mainoo and Bruno or Mainoo and Casemiro? I'd probably, if I had to choose between those combinations, I'd go Mainoo and Bruno. Our academy is more important than this manager who seems to hate it, says not Mr. J. We'll see what happens. It's one to keep an eye on, obviously. It's one of the main topics of conversation amongst a lot of the fan base at the minute. We'll see what happens with Kobbie Mainoo in January. I think the common thinking is we're going to wait till after AFCON. See what goes on there. See what happens in terms of players and injuries. I mean, I don't know how much of an effect that's going to have, but we'll see. Because he doesn't, even like you're going to lose on Mbumo and you're going to lose Ahmad and you're going to lose Mazraoui, he doesn't tend to put Bruno into one of the 10s, which would open up a space for Kobbie Mainoo. So I'm not sure, even when we've had injuries and stuff, he hasn't moved Bruno. He seems set on Bruno in that double pivot. But we'll see. That's what the party line is at the minute. We're going to wait and see till after the AFCON. Joshua Zirkzee, who a few weeks ago looked like he was going, he apparently wants to stay. He's had interest from Roma. Obviously, his star shines quite brightly in Italy. It's where he did a lot of his good work at Bologna. Roma are interested in him. However, the reports are that he wants to stay and fight for his place. Admirable. I'm never going to criticise anyone who wants to stay at Manchester United and fight for their place. I get it. I understand why anyone would want to do that, and I think if I was a Manchester United player, I'd probably want to do the same. However, is he going to get the minutes that he'll need? He's another one who's probably got half an eye on the World Cup, whether he can make Ronald Koeman's Dutch squad or not. Doubtful at the minute, innit? He's barely played. Listen, there's a lot to like about Joshua Zirkzee. He's good on the ball. You can see the qualities he's got. I worry, right? My concern with Zirkzee is just the lack of numbers. And I know he doesn't start a lot of games, but I think he's got 1 goal, is it, in 25 appearances or 26 appearances. Now, not many of them was the starts, to be fair to the kid, but that is a bit of a problem. We had this problem with Rasmus Højlund last season. We had it with all our attackers last season, other than maybe Ahmad. Garnacho wasn't scoring goals, not that many. Højlund wasn't scoring that many goals. Marcus Rashford obviously scored a few, not loads, and then he went out on loan. And I do feel like you need attackers who are going to produce goals and get you goals. Now, at the minute, Cunha's not really getting many goals either. I think he's got 1. Admittedly, he's not featured every week. He's had an injury, but he's not putting numbers on the board yet. I'm not trying to have a dig at him. I do like Mateus Cunha and I wanted us to sign him, but let's be honest, he's got, is it, 1 goal so far. Zirkzee's got 1 goal. This is what worries me a little bit. Now, he could still be an option for you. He's a different type of player. And if you're not going to bring in another striker, then would you want to lose Joshua Zirkzee? Because that's 1 blessed player that you've got, or 1 fewer player in that attacking department. So that doesn't really help you. It's just, I don't know, is the honest answer. I wouldn't lose too much sleep if Joshua Zirkzee went out on loan. I just think it doesn't make a lot of sense if you haven't got any other options. And I don't know what's going to happen with Cheeto. Could Cheeto maybe come into the first team in the second half of the season? Let me know what you think. What do you think about Joshua Zirkzee? What do you think about sending him out on loan? What do you think about Cheeto Obi getting some more minutes? What do you think about us potentially bringing in another striker? Let me know what you think. Zirkzee is a great second striker, says Maury Boogie. Let him stay. MC will catch on. The knock simply slowed him up a bit. Yeah, Doc Rock. I'm not too worried about Mateus Cunha. G'day from Perth, Australia, says JDK 6584. We need to sort this out, don't we, with these names, so you can get your proper names on here rather than these sort of handles that everyone's using. Let's talk a little bit about John Riise, right? So this guy's a bit of a lemon, isn't he? Isn't he the one that said everyone should give Ever a load of stick? So he says, John Riise says, there's no question that struggling Liverpool will finish above United in the Premier League this season. I've had this debate with a few of the lads in the office, and I think we can finish above Liverpool. I know they just beat, is it Inter? And they've still got a lot of good players, obviously, but they're having a right time of it, aren't they? I think if United got our act together, we could finish above this Liverpool team. I really do. None of the new signings are looking that great, to be honest with you. So, yeah, maybe I'm being overly ambitious, but this is a poor Liverpool team, one of the worst title defences we've seen. So why can't we? Well, we should at least aim for it. I think we can, and I think John Riise is a bit of a plum. Although, if you ever see him on Filthy Fellas, he gives you one of the funniest moments. I think it's him and PK Humble that you've ever seen on the internet. I'll let you go and find that yourselves, because I don't want to get myself in trouble. United have been signing some children, apparently. Or we're trying to. This is translated. I'm just informed by producer Ben. So it says, Liga de Quito could see one of its champions signing for Atletico de Madrid, Manchester United, among other European clubs. So European giants are turning their attention to Ecuadorian football players as potential signings. Ederson Castillo, a 16-year-old midfielder who just won the Ecuadorian Under-19 tournament, has been scouted by 3 European giants as well as Anderlecht of Belgium. The youngster is considered one of Liga de Quito's most promising youth players and has even trained with the first team several times. So United looking at this youngster. We know Ineos have got this ethos of trying to sign young players. We've done it with a few players already, likes of Aiden Heaven, likes of Cheeto Obi, likes of Seka Kone, the likes of Diego Leon. So it wouldn't surprise me if we're looking at this lad. I don't know a lot about him, I'm not going to pretend to do, but we will see. One to keep an eye on, who knows? Could be one for the future, might never end up playing for Manchester United at all. What's this last one we've got here? Manchester United have completed, Manchester is the website, love that, have completed the signing of a teenage defender ahead of the January transfer window. The signing of teenage defender Socrates, 13 years old. What? I mean, yeah, he's only just a teenager. So we've got a 13-year-old there called Socrates. What a great name, by the way. We'll file that under, once a watch, to be honest with you. I don't think we're going to be, seeing him in the first team anytime soon, but it buys into this whole idea that United are snapping up young players, and we've always done that with kids, haven't we? I think David Beckham was about 14 when he signed for United. But yeah, great name. Socrates reminds me of the Brazilian in the 80s, 70s and 80s. What a player he was. We're going to be back later on today with Off the Bar. It's going to be me, Joe and Stephen Alson for that one. Also, Finn, who was on the Transfers Live last night, is going to be coming in. We're going to be talking about JJ Gabriel with Finn. So make sure you check out Academy Review. Make sure you check out Off the Bar when it is up. Go and check out all the other videos as well. Make sure, if you're not doing so already, you're hitting like, share and subscribe. And finally, don't forget to check out the merch. I'll put a link in the chat. Oh, it's there. Producer Ben is on it. So go and check that out. We've got a load of merch there available. If you get an order in today and tomorrow, you should get it in time for Christmas. If you're in the UK, that is. So go and check out the merchandise. Help support the channel. And someone said in the chat earlier, top quality stuff. I've been Jay Motty. This has been the Paper Talk. Thanks for watching.